organizations, they took this group of intellectuals that have moved us in this direction, they took ideas seriously. So when they learned, when they were young, that you should place the well-being of others before yourself, that you should be selfless, they said, okay, what are the political, intellectual, philosophical consequences of that? And they drew that out. And they take those fundamental philosophical principles as true, as real. And there has been no real intellectual, philosophical challenge to the stuff that's been taught in our high schools and universities for the last 100 years. There just hasn't been interlinear. There hasn't been a real questioning of those assumptions. Not by religious leaders, not by secular leaders, not by anybody. So they have basically got away with dominating the intellectual life and training our future politicians. Notice that most of our presidents go to the best universities, who are intellectually the most corrupt because they have the smartest professors who are trained in these really, really bad philosophies and really, really bad ideas. So these people have brain power. They're just applying it to a philosophy that's anti-human life, that's anti-human progress, anti-human achievement. And we're living the consequence of it.
You know, thinking about it, to me, there are kind of two causes of the current crisis. Most of the government policy driven by the Federal Reserve and Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. If you look at what underlying Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae affordable housing, these practices, it was altruism. It was a goal of being sure everybody got a house whether they owned it or not. And these very smart people were operating from that altruistic principle. So they were executing in the real world to accomplish that goal. If you look at Wall Street, I don't think altruism is the driver, but pragmatism is the driver. And pragmatism is really tall in most of our universities because altruism doesn't work in business. We can kind of treat, but you can't be an altruist in business, right? It just doesn't work. So they knew altruism didn't work. So what do they become? They become pragmatists. Pragmatists, that says, well, let's do what works today. And they drop the long-term consequence. Then people say, well, they were greedy. Well, it's strange. They all ended up broke. That's not greedy, right? They were stupid instead of greedy. They were stupid because they dropped the long-term context. I can get away with it. It's almost like Madoff and saying different, not flawed, except a different kind of mentality. And if you look at what's taught in the universities, it's altruism or pragmatism. And the business schools is largely pragmatism. And pragmatism really gets people in trouble because it keeps them from thinking in the long term.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comment. I'm somebody who's creating a system of private schools in the Charlotte region, and so I'd love the chance to talk to you more personally. One of the things that I think is very, very important for people to understand is that unless we develop the moral fiber of the students while we're developing the intellectual fiber, we are not developing students that can think at all. I would encourage you all to become aware of a group in North Carolina called Parents for Educational Freedom in North Carolina. It was stopped by the National Teachers Union. 13 states have followed suit, following Pennsylvania, where citizens can put some of their tax dollars directly into a school of their choice. And that can be public or private. And if that would happen, you find citizens back in the schools. C.S. Lewis and Plato both said, if you wait until people are older to make a difference, ethics makes no point. You must educate kids younger, not at the university level. It's already a day late, $1 short at that point. So I would encourage you to have an opportunity, or ask for an opportunity to talk with you about how we can affect education at a younger level.
I totally agree with that, but also, Yaron's point, one of the difficult things you have now is finding teachers that can teach that. So you've got to take over the universities to teach the teachers. So, because to me, the ultimate goal was to have it taught at a very young age. But I don't think you can properly staff the educational establishments you really need in the U.S. today to teach it together. They're not because they're bad people, but because they're coming from a lot of bad understanding. So you've got to take over the universities to impact the teachers to feed the system, but even though I totally agree with your idea.
But, don't give up on teenagers. The beauty of teenage years is it's a period of trying to find yourself, trying to figure out what your own values are, separation from your parents, healthy separation, attempt to separate, which isn't always healthy, but the separation itself is a healthy thing. Trying to figure out what you believe. And it's a time and an opportunity for people to change. And people do change in Again, I read Atlas Shrugged when I was 16. I agreed with not a sentence in the book when I started, and it changed my life. Many people have changed during those teen years, during, I'd say, somewhere between 16 and 24, a crucial intellectual year. If you can get them younger, it's 1,000 times better, there's no question. But don't give up on those young kids. They can be changed, they'll open an argument, take advantage of the fact that they're teenagers. We always bitch and complain about teenagers. No, it's a wonderful time in which to introduce new ideas because they're just opening up to the world and to ideas. So we at the Institute, we try to get Iron Man's books taught in high schools. And we figured if we go to the school boards and we go to the curriculum committees, they'll all let us down because Iron Man, she's a controversial figure. So we went to the teachers directly. And we offer the teachers as many books as they want if they're guaranteed to teach the books in the classrooms. We today ship 350,000 books to high schools all over America. To teachers who are teaching the books. We think we've got about 1 million kids reading Iron Man in high school every year. That, to me, it's not as good as we could start with the 7, 8, 9, 10. But that, to me, is we're introducing these ideas at a key point in these kids' lives, and hopefully they'll have an influence on them for the rest of their lives.
I disagree with your use of the term altruism, because that's a positive term. Robert Brook mentioned it in one of his books after he was summarily kicked off the Supreme Court nomination process. But the term that I like to use, and I think it's the prevailing sentiment that we're up against, is radical egalitarianism. This idea that the bottom 10, 15% should have everything that the top 25% have. And I don't know, my percentages may be off, that's fine. But nonetheless, I think the problems in our educational system and the problems in our this healthcare proposal is this crazy, this irrational, but sentiment. It's a real sentiment, and it's not altruism. It's a radical form of egalitarianism that seeks to level across the playing field and runs counter to the beliefs that Ayn Rand has talked about. I think that our biggest struggle here is to dispel this notion of radical egalitarianism that pops up all the way across our political, social, and economic spectrum. That's my sentiment.
Well, I think defining altruism is different than defining addiction. Altruism is basically the fact that somebody else that you don't care about is more important than you. And egalitarianism flows from altruism. So I would certainly agree that egalitarianism is an expression of altruism. As you're talking about egalitarianism, I think it's the same. Is worse because what egalitarians want is not equal opportunity. They want equal outcome. But the foundation, the cause of egalitarianism is altruism, which says you don't really have the right to your life. And this really came from Kant, who basically said that nobody has a right. The way to be a good person is to act out of duty, not for anything that he, in a certain sense, he rejected the Christian idea that you do it out of duty, but you get to heaven. He said, no, that's not right. You just do it out of duty as an end in itself. And that's the source of altruism, which is also the source of egalitarianism. So I think it's a definition. I'm not